Welcome to the Sunday morning meditation. It's such an important time to go quiet every day, whether in the evening or in the morning. You know, we need to change the thinking on the planet to be aware of all the life that's in the waters, what the trees need, what all the life forms need other than us to survive on such a beautiful planet. We have natives that have lived here on this continent for a long time that know how to keep the fires from happening on this land. And we just need for the people to let them help, because their method worked before the other people came onto the shores. They really have the information and they're open to help. So if in your prayers you could just see this happening, that they are respected enough to be called on to help keep the fires off America. And there is so much information that they have that has never gotten into our school books or into anything about what they were like before we came. All you hear is warring and they were savages, and that's not true. There was fighting, yes, but there was a group of natives that came together, 5 nations that became 6 nations that our democracy came from, and it was the Haudenosaunee. My father was Mohawk, he was part of the Haudenosaunee, and they had no example of democracy, and it was Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin who actually went to the leaders of the 5 nations and said, how do you do this? And it's all based on you talk and you talk and then talk until you come to agreement. And everybody's too hurried to be with their emotions, but you just talk and talk and talk until you come to agreement. And it does happen, it just takes time, but we're so impatient. So we do have the example of how it can work, and it's still working with the Haudenosaunee. Now there's 6 nations. They are still meeting in Syracuse, New York, and they still meet in council, and they come to decisions through talking it out until they all are heard, and then they come to agreement. So it's possible, and we should do that too, not get all fired up with emotions, and meditation will help us pull down these emotions and start to listen to where people are coming from. They're not all bad. They've got a concept behind what has got them thinking the way they are. And we have to have patience. And that comes through meditation, to listen to the other side. So we could have a coming together on this planet of what we can do to help the environment and to help us get along with another. So we're going to do a chant. And this chant is a call and response. And I'm going to just nod my head when you're supposed to respond. And I really want to hear everybody here singing. This is a really simple chant. I think it's simple, but I am a singer, and I hope it's simple enough for you. So let's go. Can we bring the lights down a little bit? Okay. I am All of life is a miracle. I am, dance to the music of all life. Dance to the music of all life. I am. Feel the rhythm of I am. Feel the rhythm of I am. Love flows through me. Love flows through me. Peace flows through me. All of life is a miracle. All of life is a miracle. Feel the rhythm of I am. Dance to the music of all life. Feel the rhythm of I am. I am. Love flows through me. Peace flows through me. I am.
Good morning. We didn't quite make 40, we have a little bit over 30. So the shirt, I didn't even bring it out. Does that show a lack of faith? At least it's hanging back in my office. I got a very discouraging letter from someone this week. Not an email, a letter, which they didn't sign their name or address to, saying, I'm new to Unity and I don't want to judge, but honestly speaking, don't you think it's kind of shallow to be trying to bring people into a Sunday service to see a fancy shirt? No, I got that letter. I can't even write back, but I know what I'm going to say when I do write, find out who it is. What is a minister supposed to do if in fact he is shallow? Did I say good morning, everyone? No? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to start with this particular quote from Rumi. Can we have this up here?
Technical difficulties.
Okay. Are you going to let me know when you figured it out? Okay, that's not the quote, but
No, it is not. No, it is not.
okay.
It will be in about 10 seconds. Ready?
I'm ready.
Move.
There it is. This is poet sage Rumi. There is a field beyond right and wrong. Meet me there. There is a field beyond right and wrong. Meet me there. Just a question for you to think about. When you finally get to that field, will the people meeting there be wearing face masks or not? And let's follow that quote up with this, possibly the most known and least understood quote in the entire Bible. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? You can read this in Matthew 7, 1-2. Judge not that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And the measure you give will be the measure you get. That is an amazing, cogent, spiritual truth. Do you realize how it literally eliminates all the illusions around karma? Past life karma. Think about it. If it really has anything to do with one's state of mind, then all karma, good or bad, is more or less self-generated, self-brought about. Judge not that you be not judged, for with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And the measure you give will be the measure you get back. But even more difficult than that is the step of faith one would have to take to grasp the essential, subtle truth of this. If the judgment we are pronouncing is judging myself, then it eliminates the illusion of separate personalities. It brings forth the ideal that we are all one, interconnected. So you see how We talk about heaven, getting there, all these concepts, these truths, these self-help books, blah, 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 on and on. But are you beginning to realize what it really entails? Such a dynamic shift in the way one thinks, which would then affect, because we are one, everything we experience. So all of this stuff is like sewing patches on old wineskins and things like, man, we have the 1,000 teachings and parables to try to get us to understand that there is a state of consciousness, which is referred to as heaven, you know, the promised land, nirvana. And then the real hard part is sustaining our awareness of it so that we can return to it and live from it, bless from it, heal through it, from it. So who even recognizes, you know, the unfailing karma that such a truth actually incurs? I mean, most people know the quote, but how many actually are involved in considering it in the way they're conducting their thoughts and actions? Is it any wonder, though, that those that have taken to task their own consciousness in this journey to this higher dimension of experience, they all consider the world they left behind as being insane, totally insane. And if anybody were just objectively honest enough and looked out at the world or listened to the news in the evening or the morning or the afternoon now where it's all over the place, could you conclude anything except that humanity from that level of awareness is insane? Now people are up in arms about, let's go find out, you know, did the virus actually originate in Wuhan, in a, you know, a biological chemical weapons center in China? The real question is, don't you see that anybody thinking about creating biological weapons has to be insane? And anybody even considering that in the human experience is insane. It's insane. It's madness. It's to be so congested with fear as to want to be in this defense. All kinds. We've got nuclear weapons already, but no, we might have to use biological weapons to get back at, even with, defend ourselves from. All right, you've got my point on that. You know, we can judge a concept. We can judge a book. We can judge a musical composition. We can judge a movie. We can judge a glass of wine. For ourselves, we each will be doing that anyway. We judge that. With no harm done, no karma, no negative karma incurred. But if we hold a negative opinion about anyone, any other person, we are involved in self-deception on a colossal level. We are involved in a denial of the majesty and the miracle of creation. We're in denial of that. So love's not really my goal, or peace of mind, because you can't have peace of mind without understanding your interconnectedness with every other living being, who, no matter how they may appear to us is struggling toward a life worth living and may not yet be at that place where they recognize their own limited perceptions denying them that life. And so, in truth, there is but one self in which our thoughts and beliefs are mirrored back to each of us by every seeming separate other person. What you really should do right now, I'm surprised it hasn't happened for a while. It hasn't happened for long. It happens on occasion. Has happened. People just get up and walk out when something like that is said, because their understanding of their prowess to be able to judge and decide from their separate objective observations is wounded by that statement. What they're saying, he's telling me I can't see, I can't judge. So we used to have people walk out till we got smart and locked the doors behind you. You can't get out now till the service is over. That's my defense. Can we have this video? Do we have this video?
No, we can't. We actually cannot. We are trying.
Am I supposed to be forgiving? Don't you realize how difficult it is to have a plan in your mind about what you're going to say? And have all these different things set up, these quotes and videos which kind of help you along. And then to have somebody, well, we don't have it, we don't have it. There's such a lack of devotion in it all. Okay, I'm going to move on without it. If you don't get anything else from this talk, you must understand that we are called to transform our own separate consciousness and dissolve the illusion of our separation in order to enter that refined level of awareness. And of course, in Miracles is very clear about this. We don't enter it all at once and forever. We enter it for a short period of time. We recognize the sacredness of life. If we had, I mean, if we taught this in the schools growing up and everything, it'd be different, but we don't. And the media is so hell-bent on keeping us distracted from the reality that we don't have any recourse to gain this on any long-term basis. But we can, for short periods of time, feel so totally blessed in the recognition that everything is sacred. And what we don't understand about the way life is going is only because we don't have that finite, I mean, we don't have the grand awareness necessary. So what does that require? In other words, if we're told we can't judge because we are one, in essence, we're creating the outer experience we're looking upon and our feelings in regards to it by our deeply held beliefs and thoughts. And then we're told we don't have the ability to see beyond the appearances. What would that mean? How would we find that joy, that meditation respite from the slings and arrows of outrageous experiences in our lives. How can we just, people that haven't really gotten into meditation don't know how to be joy-filled. But how would you get there if you're told you can't figure it out? You'd only get there by faith. And what would you have to do by faith to get into this higher level of awareness where people would be around you and say of you, my God, this guy is really cool. This gal is so relaxed. Place is coming apart at the seams, but getting there would require a faith to proceed in a practice that is rejected by the illusion-driven populace of the world still. But this is the key. Can we have this? Do we have this PowerPoint? This next PowerPoint?
Almost. Heather is working really hard on this.
I almost, at this point, want Heather's job. I know I do that to Heather. Heather is so cool, no matter what she does. If I don't get another PowerPoint today, it's fine with me, because Heather is so cool. But you, Mike.
This is Heather's fault, not me.
No, I never really liked you that much. That PowerPoint from A Course in Miracles reveals to us that it is incumbent upon us by faith to practice looking past the foibles. Okay. You read this in the workbook, page 329, paragraph 2. Perception has a focus. It is this that gives consistency to what you see. Change but this focus, and what you behold will change accordingly. Your vision now will shift to give support to the intent which has replaced the one you held before. Remove your focus on your brother's sins and your sister's sins, and you experience the peace that comes from faith in sinlessness. This faith receives its only sure support from what you see in others past their sins. For their mistakes, if focused on, are witnesses to sins in you. And you will not transcend their sight and see the sinlessness that lies beyond. Wherever you see sinlessness there, you could put or exchange and put the word sacred. You will not see the sacredness of others. You will not even begin to sense their consternation and confusion in their search to try to find their happiness and harmony. Because we become so isolated, we've lost the ability to feel, genuinely feel for others. Can we have this back again, please? Well, can't you get it back? Perception has a focus. It is this that gives consistency to what you see. Change but this focus, and what you behold will change accordingly. You have to ask yourself over and over again, you believe that? Your vision now will shift to give support to the intent which has replaced the one you held before. Remove your focus on your brother and sister's sins, and you experience the peace that comes from faith in sinlessness. This faith receives its only sure support from what you see in others past their sins. For their mistakes, if focused on, are witnesses to sins in you, and you will not transcend their sight and see the sinlessness that lies beyond. Here we are. The vision of the sacred will never disappear. It's always there. Just like we say God is omnipresent. And people will argue, well, if God is omnipresent, you know, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why can't I pick it up? Why can't I do it? Well, the fact is, God is always present and available in every given moment, condition, and situation. But because of our limited thinking, we are not present. And the hardest thing in the world, it seems, for human beings, especially in the Western culture, is to be just absolutely present. Okay, this is it. What I'm about to say is the most important thing anybody could figure out, have, gain in all the world, what I am about to say. It's not mine. It can't be mine because I don't get that kind of respect. It's Eckhart Tolle's. What I'm about to say is Eckhart Tolle's truth about how to transcend the limited initial conditioning of mind that holds us separate and apart from realizing we are sacred. I am sacred, called to express that reality, to see it and believe it and live it. So here it is. Boy, look, nobody's picking up a pencil or paper or anything. This is it. You know, if I laid out, you know, buckets of diamonds right here and said, this is it, you'd really be reaching for it. Are you reaching for it? Here it is. Let's have this. And I could be blown away because they might not have gotten this PowerPoint. I would be finished. Stillness Speaks, Eckhart Tolle, page 100, paragraphs 1 and 2. This is what you'll have to do. Whenever you meet anyone, no matter how briefly, do you acknowledge their being by giving them your full attention? Or are you reducing them to means to an end, a mere function or role? A moment of attention is enough. As you look at them or listen to them, there is an alert stillness, perhaps only 2 or 3 seconds, perhaps longer. That is enough for something more real to emerge than the roles we usually play and identify with. All roles are part of the conditioned consciousness that is the human mind. That which emerges through the act of attention is the unconditioned, who you are in your essence, underneath your name and form. You are no longer acting out a script. You become real. When that dimension emerges from within you, it also draws it forth from within the other person. Ultimately, of course, there is no other, and you are always meeting yourself. Can we take this back again, please? So you can read this in Stillness Speaks, page 100, paragraphs 1 and 2. If you're relaxed in looking at this, you'll see how what this would do, what operating and practicing this would do, would completely diminish the ego-centered concept that developed out of the illusions we were born and raised in. The ego-centered concept is forever attempting to feel good, feel better, and feel superior by looking for the faults and the limitations in others. It's forever doing that in its false attempt to feel better, smarter, bigger, more spiritual. But if you start to practice this, what happens to that? Whenever you meet anyone, no matter how briefly, do you acknowledge their being by giving them your full attention? Or are you reducing them to means to an end, a mere function or role? A moment of attention is enough. As you look at them or listen to them, there is an alert stillness, perhaps only 2 or 3 seconds, perhaps longer. That is enough for something more real to emerge than the roles we usually play and identify with. All roles are part of the conditioned consciousness that is the human mind. That which emerges through the act of attention is the unconditioned, who you are in your essence, underneath your name and form. You are no longer acting out a script. You become real. When that dimension emerges from within you, it also draws it forth from within the other person. And judgment is no more. Ultimately, of course, there is no other, and you are always meeting yourself. Boy, did the people coming to Unity sign up for a hard calling. You see, in other religions, especially Catholicism, it's all about somehow, going along with what the priests would have you do as far as being good. And then when you drop your body at the end of this life, then you get to go to heaven. And Unity is saying heaven is a state of consciousness that is accessible now. And not for long periods of time. Don't even think that you're going to have a flash of experience. It may happen there. It almost happened that way for Eckhart Tolle. But it is a momentary awareness that transcends the incessant thinking and projecting of the ego-centered idea of self and its fears and its needs to defend and be better, smarter, greater, more protected than. It transcends that, and suddenly you feel a peace like you've never felt before. And you feel a joy because you have entered into God consciousness. You've entered into heaven. You don't have to go there for a long time. What really comes out of that is you know it exists. You don't need any second-hand information. You know that that exists. And so when your life is not going the way you'd like it to go, you can do the practice that may take you back there and alleviate the feeling of negativity and concern and worry and fear. And then you practice and practice. And as I said, I don't know when I said this, the video is ready. Do I have time for it? I should do it? These people haven't even shown up, enough of them to see the shirt. Why should I give them the video?
Jeff, 36 in here.
There's 36.
Isn't that close enough?
Oh, yeah. Let's cheat God. I made a promise to the Almighty.
Did you?
I only need 4 more next week. Now, is everybody here going to be here next week? Raise your hand if you're going to be here next week. Because you lied last week. What am I dealing with? All right. I'm not going to reveal the shirt. I will show you the video. It's been on there. Let's have it, Mike. Well, that was good.
If you awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. I'm not trying to sell you on this idea in the sense of converting you to it. I want you to play with it. I want you to think of its possibilities. I'm not trying to prove it. I'm just putting it forward as a possibility of life to think about. So then, let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. Not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not.
We'll, what? All right. So we can get on with the service. Mike, we're going to cut the usual meditation film that concludes the service. All right? So let's take a few moments to meditate together. See if we can let go of this identity that we have been living in and from without an understanding of our eternal divinity. We are going to listen to our bowls, our beautiful Tibetan bowls. And can you imagine everything going on in the ego-centered idea of things is to make us feel separate and apart, fearful. But look, what if just for these few moments you decide to be okay, no matter what's going on in your mind or life? Try that, to be okay right here, now, while you listen to the tones of these beautiful bowls. And when we get to that place in silence, you may want to consider this particular mantra. I am he. I am they. I am she. Everything you think of me. Everything you do to me. Be still and know that I am one. Be still and know that I am God. I am they, I am he, I am you, I am she. Everything you think of me. Everything you do to me. Be still and know that I am one. Be still and know that I am God. as we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space. Let us be aware that every encounter in our lives offers us an opportunity to consider it a divine appointment. So we take the affirmation, this is a divine appointment. And we use it in all of our relationships this week. This is a divine appointment. I will be present, I will be open, I will be one. This is a divine appointment. I will be present, I will be open, I will be one. And for this opportunity, we give thanks. And to this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. Those of you that are watching this online on the screen, these are the different ways you can tithe. Besides the fact that I think there's a donation tag on your screen you can go to. But those of you here that like to make a physical donation now, that's fine. Or we have a single dip jar for your credit card in the lobby. Let's just bring to mind that financial gift we'd like to make to continue this ministry of Boulder. And let's bless this gift with this prayer. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. Amen.
Spread over us wings of your peace. Spread over us wings of your peace. For with you is the source of light. In your light do we see light. We see light. We see light.
Thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate you showing up. I only need 4 more people according to the count here. If you can bring yourself around to getting here, I'm pretty sure we're going to make it next week. You're going to see a miracle shirt. I'll prove that it's a miracle shirt, and you'll be amazed. More amazed than any particular thing that's happened to you in your life. Don't miss it. All right. I'm going to be in Fellowship Hall. As soon as we clear this out of here, take me a couple of minutes, and I'll be over there in Fellowship Hall. If anybody wants to talk, I'll be there. I think at the second service, I'm even going to have a circle to have a discussion about anything people want to discuss regarding the service. So thanks again. See you later.